welcome to All Things STEM with Ashley. I'm so excited to have our guest Shania Williams here with us today. Shania is a visionary cosmetic scientist with a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry from North Carolina A&T State University, whose formulation expertise has shaped iconic brands like Milk Makeup, Marc Jacobs Beauty, and Fenty Beauty. With extensive experience in both domestic and international formulations, including EU and Korean markets, she seamlessly bridges innovation and global beauty standards in every creation. Beyond the lab, she passionately educates aspiring chemists through university lectures and hands-on formulation workshops, empowering the next generation of beauty industry leaders. As the force behind transformative formulations and inspiring learning spaces, she continues to leave an undeniable mark on the world of cosmetics. So we want to welcome Shania.
Hi everyone.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm super excited to hear about your journey into the cosmetics industry. Because a lot of times when we hear STEM, we always think you have to be in a lab.
Yes.
Or you can only do certain things, but you have expanded into your own beauty brand.
Yay.
So can you tell us about your journey and how your background prepared you to be in the cosmetics industry?
Yes, of course. So I have my BS in chemistry from North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride.
Yeah.
But how I started, let's start from the beginning, of course, high school. My junior year, I was in chemistry class with Miss Reynolds, and she asked me, she was like, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, oh, I want to be a makeup artist. And she was like, no, go make the makeup. You're too smart for that, so go make the makeup.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then, so I realized that chemistry was kind of the most challenging subject for me in high school, and I really love a challenge. So I was just like, let me go ahead, let me get a degree in chemistry, and then I went to North Carolina A&T where I got my BS in chemistry, and from there I graduated on, I think, a Friday, and I walked into Cosmetic, which is the biggest makeup manufacturer in the world, on Monday.
Oh,
so
congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
so amazing.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I love that. So mentorship basically had a part in you learning beyond makeup artistry.
Yes.
Pushing you, helping you go beyond your boundaries to do something bigger.
Yes.
Okay, so your first day at Cosmetic, how was that? What was that? Like going from graduating college straight into the workforce for a major company?
It was very exciting. It was very overwhelming, and I'm going to be honest. When I walked into the lab, it was maybe only 3 people that looked like me. So it was very intimidating.
Right.
However, I knew that I had to be there because there wasn't a lot of people that looked like you and I within the lab. So it was nerve-wracking, but I learned so much at my time at Cosmetic. If anybody knows manufacturers, like being there just for a year, they count it like as 5 years. So you just learn so much. So it was a really good, exciting, nerve-wracking experience.
I love it. So you already talked about what inspired you to use chemistry for your cosmetics line. How did your chemistry knowledge play a role in product development, like formulating skincare or makeup products? How does that all play a part?
It was more so analytical, and that's what I recommend to all students who are trying to get into the cosmetic industry, who are currently within their bachelor's. If you can get into the lab, like get to know the lab manager, knowing your analytical skills, knowing how to set up things, knowing how to, certain hot plates, certain wattages, and just mixing things and working with beakers and all that. You have to have a certain etiquette within the lab. And on top of that, I was already kind of mixing and dabbling within essential oils for a company. So Stephanie Tidwell, a church member of mine, actually asked me to start creating fragrances using essential oils. For her company. So I started with that as well. So it was a little bit of both, I would say, outside doing my own research as well as making sure within college and within the lab that I stayed on top of my analytical skills, learning how to work FTIR or any other type of, analytical equipment that you would use in the lab, and putting that on my resume so that coming out, the hiring manager would know, okay, she has analytical skills. She just doesn't have a degree in chemistry from the lab, or far as analytical skills from courses and classes. I actually stayed after courses and classes and did the extra work. So I can learn more, methods.
I want to get into some different things that are in the beauty industry. So how do you balance safety, efficiency, and innovation when formulating products?
So that's a really good question. So essentially, I like to stay up on far as trends, safeties, no-nos, what we call the blacklist in the cosmetic industry, which is, just raw materials or ingredients that are no longer allowed far as in cosmetic formulations, even though the US currently right now, cosmetics isn't regulated as the EU. So I typically practice the EU practice of it all because it eventually is going to get into that. So the US is now developing, instead of Cosmos like the EU, it's now developing MOCRA. And so I try to essentially make sure that I'm with those trends, which is called like green chemistry, sustainability. So definitely keeping up with those trends, doing my research, making sure that any raw materials that I do decide to order, they're not on the blacklist, they're safe, and as well as the percentages used. That's another thing too. Making sure I'm up to date on those as well. So just to make sure that the stability and safety of everything is good.
A lot of gems. So now I want to get into some regulatory things and ask, what are some of the biggest regulatory hurdles you encountered while starting your line, and how did you navigate that?
So the biggest hurdles I would say is going into creating non-natural, non-organic products. With that, you have vendors that you have to be connected in a certain way. You have to literally work for a lab in order to get those raw materials. So that was a hurdle, and that kind of transitioned me into more so natural and organic. When I went from Cosmex to Tri-K Industries in Denville, shout out to Tri-K, where I was working underneath Carolina Denman, who kind of gave me the world to explore as far as cosmetic formulation. And that's where we got to formulate with hydrolyzed proteins that were more so extracted from plants. And so when I discovered that, wow, like, okay, I'm really good at making natural formulations, organic formulations, and then of course obtaining the raw materials is a lot easier versus a patented raw material from overseas. And so that was kind of a challenge, like transitioning in from knowing so much about synthetic or non-organic, non-natural cosmetics into natural cosmetics, because of course Cosmex is a Korean-based skincare, and a lot of Korean-based skincare use patented raw materials that 9 times out of 10 they either are natural but usually aren't natural. It's usually created in a lab, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong, as long as it serves its purpose and does its function. But when I transitioned to Tri-K, it was like, oh, I'm not using all these pegs. I'm not using DMDH, if anyone knows what that is. Certain preservatives, and far as even phenoxyethanol, was just very shocker to me. It was like, oh, okay. So we're not using what I'm used to, so now I have to see how I can formulate in order to make a formula stable, without the non-organic, non-natural raw materials. Because with those raw materials, of course, shelf life is shorter, stability is way more sensitive, timing is way more sensitive. Just the overall process of creating that product is way more sensitive. So
you're so amazing. I'm learning so much right now, just soaking it all in. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Amazing.
Yes.
So now I wanted to ask, how do you ensure products are safe for consumers, especially considering the chemistry involved in the product formulations?
I basically make sure that it's stable. Of course, it goes on stability. I do a 3-month run. All products should go on a 3-month run. And that's freeze thaw. You're at 40 degrees Celsius, 70 degrees Celsius, and I believe 110 degrees Celsius. So I do within my own stability at home, as well as sending out to a third party, because I don't have all those ovens in my apartment. But that's essentially what I do. And really, I don't release a product really about until a year after I actually developed it myself. I like to make sure that one shelf life it lasts, because like I said, I'm working with natural or organic products, so you want to make sure shelf life is good. There's no rancidity, there's no separation, there's no mold, no any little creatures crawling around or growing in there. So that's essentially what I do, keeping it with me, a trial with me for a year, and then also sending out to a third-party lab to test, so I have those results. So just in case a consumer does come back, I'm able to say, okay, well, based off these results, it's good. So now I need to reach out to the suppliers and vendors and then get whatever SDS or C of A, any technical document on that raw material for that lot, specific lot that raw material that I used, and then go over that and making sure, troubleshooting that, making sure, nothing was wrong with that lot, and then getting back to the consumer. Yeah.
That's excellent. And SDS is safety data sheet.
Yes, safety data sheet.
I know, I love it.
Yes, and C of A is a certificate of analysis. So.
Yes, thank you. I love how you were talking about raw materials and different things, shelf life, things like that. So how did you go about sourcing raw materials and choosing suppliers for your product?
So I knew suppliers and raw material vendors from being within the industry, working at Cosmetic, Tri-K. So I've always kept those connections. I've always kept that, line of communication. So then, and I knew based off of studying their SDSs and their C of A's, and basically they're really good vendors and raw material suppliers. So I kind of carried that into my own business. I was like, I want to keep creating how can I say, industry level cosmetics just within my own brand. So
I love it. That's exciting. So you kind of talked about challenges and hurdles you first saw when you were finding things. How did you convey your branding? How did social media play a role? When you're new, it's hard starting out.
Right.
So what helped you with marketing, getting your cosmetics out there so people can say, hey, this is my brand, get from me. I make good things too.
Right, so it actually happened by accident. It's a really funny story. So while I was working with Tri-K, of course, COVID was coming around.
Right.
And unfortunately I was furloughed. However, because I was a temp.
Yeah.
So however, within the last week of being there at Tri-K, I kind of was just bringing my own products home and sharing them within my family, my friends, my community.
Yeah.
And people were like, you made this?
Yeah.
You made these products?
Yeah.
You got really good at making products. Like, we want products, we want more products. So then I said, okay. COVID shut everything down, of course. And I said, I don't want to stop formulating. This is my dream. This is my God-given talent.
Yeah.
I have to continue this for my community, my peers, people just within my, around me.
Yeah.
And then I started selling, mixing and out of the kitchen, out of my parents' kitchen, mixing and selling, of course. And then people were it was, getting bigger and bigger. People were sharing it on Instagram. Of course, Instagram was the first biggest thing.
Yeah.
And people were sharing it. And then before I knew it, people that was out of the state of New Jersey, which is where I started, were contacting, like, can you ship me this? I want some. My friend. And I just started shipping, and then it was like, okay, I need a website. I need to really, this is something, it just kind of snowballed into, this big, which is now Self-Worth Cosmetics.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask. So what is your brand now? Self-Worth Cosmetics.
Self-Worth Cosmetics. It's inspired, of course, my name is Shania Williams.
Yeah.
And it's my story behind Self-Worth Cosmetics is basically knowing your worth and simply knowing that you deserve everything you desire just by simply existing, just by being a child of God. So
I love that.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you. So you spoke about how you got to brand and market, right? How do you convey the scientific and technical aspects of your products to consumers that may not have a chemistry background?
Yeah, so I actually just started doing this. I just started educating my consumers instead of just putting the formula on there, because not everybody knows what it means. So now I'm on TikTok actually, and basically teaching little 60-second videos in a sense of teaching my consumers what type of raw materials are not only in my products, but when they go out and they see it on the shelves, what they're looking at and what they're purchasing and consuming. So that's more so what I'm doing now, just more so doing little short videos and clips, and making sure on the website that it's very descriptive as far as the raw material, and 9 times out of 10 it's natural. It's not anything that you can't pronounce or it looks like it's just a made-up word.
Right. Well, excellent. Yes. So you talked about starting it from the ground up, just in the middle of a pandemic when resources are scarce. So what advice would you give to someone with a chemistry background who's interested in starting their own cosmetic line? Like something you've learned along the way.
Something I learned along the way is don't burn your bridges. Network.
Yeah.
The cosmetic industry, even though it's large, it's very small. Like, just for instance, someone here in the U.S. may know someone over in the EU and recommend you. For instance, that's just how I got my position now. So it's just kind of like keep your networking, do the hard work.
Yes.
If you can, especially if you're starting out, do the legwork, crawl
Yes.
before you walk. Don't let the degree make you think that you could just fly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know the degree was a lot of hard work, and that was one of the challenges that I faced.
Yeah.
My ego. It was like, I want to tell future chemists is that, and to anyone, you can have all the ingredients to bake a cake, but you can still make a dry cake. You know what I'm saying? You don't know the procedure, how to put things, what temperatures, and the details on how to actually build a formula is way more important than worrying about far as the raw material vendor. I mean, that's important too,
Right.
but you have to know how to put things together. You can't just go out and grab and just cross your fingers. You can, but if you want to sell it to other consumers besides those within your community,
Right.
make sure you do the work, the legwork. It is not I tell people, it is not a certificate in a sense program. Right. It takes years of training and continued training. I still have to train, even as a cosmetic science. Even master cosmetic formulators and mixers and batchers. They're still constantly training and learning because science is always updating.
Yes.
There's always a different way to do something. There's always something better or more easy or something. So you have to stay on top of that.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, because it's hard and people just see the success and they don't understand the background work, the research, the understanding, the
many sleepless nights.
Yes.
Many sleepless nights, many staying after 5, coming in at 7 a.m., leaving at 7 p.m., just to really learn the work and make those connections, because it's another thing. Yeah. When scientists who are I don't want to say above you, but ahead of you, have more experience than you. Yes. If they see that you're not willing to do the groundwork, they're not going to teach you the skills to make you
be successful.
Like them. Yeah. So you have to show people an effort. Yes. And that's with anything, I believe. Show people an effort, and then they'll teach you all the gems. They'll open the treasure box of gems. So.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Thank you for that. Are there any specific skills outside of chemistry that you found particularly useful as a cosmetics entrepreneur?
Yes, I'm a really good baker. I know that's funny.
That's good though.
I'm a really good baker. As far as cooking and everything, that's a little bit different. But when it comes down to pastries and everything, you have to be exact.
Precise with like your measurements. And so that goes in the cosmetic.
I'm a really good baker. Yeah. And then also, you have to be very detailed with everything. So being with that, it's like I'm very detailed with everything. Even speaking or telling, I kind of tell too much detail. Yeah. So that's another thing, soft skill that I bring, being very thorough with communication, which is why I teach at universities now, cosmetic formulation. Yeah, because there wasn't kind of a road path for me. Yeah. So I said, you know what? Let me provide that road path now that I'm grateful to have gotten through those doors and sat at those tables. Yeah. Let me create a road path for those who can get a BS and also who can't get a BS. Yeah. Everyone deserves a path laid out for them. So
I love that. That's what this channel is about. Giving back, having a platform where we can hear tips for success along the journey. Things we wish we had known. Things our mentors have poured into us so we can pour it into other people that might not have the same resources. Yes. So that's why I'm super excited and grateful that you're here today. And I love that you're giving back and paying it forward and making it better for our next generation of leaders, because that's so needed.
Yes, and I need you guys to keep me young. I can't stay in the lab.
Yes, keep us young.
I need other chemists underneath me so we could keep me young and young looking.
Yes, I love that. So I know you were just talking about how science changes all the time. Technology, innovations come. How do you see the future of the cosmetics industry evolving in relation to these scientific advancements that we see day to day?
So what I see happening in the future, of course, is now we're using nanotechnology, nanoparticles, very small nanoparticles, as well as more so, I also feel as if like there's going to be more so going into nature. Like for instance, one of the trends is fungi and mushrooms now, more using, things that you normally wouldn't go towards, and then seeking the benefit out of that and putting it into cosmetics. I really feel like this is what's the next trend is far as instead of polishing, it's more so nurturing. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
That
Like,
sounds amazing.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
really good.
It's I feel like that's where it's kind of going towards, especially with Mokra and kind of adopting Cosmos and EU, and I think that's where we're slowly starting to shift in towards more kind of just more natural, more
Yeah.
organic, but
Yeah.
still a balance of still using technology,
Right.
nanoparticles, you know, all that. So that's what I see it going into.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Are there any emerging trends or technologies in chemistry that you're excited to explore for future products?
Yes, so currently right now I love these reusable as far as componentry, where you can basically like reuse the component itself. You're not just constantly buying a new component. You get refillables. I
Yes.
love those.
Yeah.
And then another as far as cosmetics trend, I'm really loving like the duos of products. Like
Yeah.
it can be used for more than one
Like lipstick and blush.
purpose.
Like, okay.
Exactly. I'm really loving that. And then lastly, what I'm really loving is the more so the colors within the cosmetics that's coming through right now.
Yeah.
It's not just your typical clean. Now people are using more yellows
Yeah.
or like the real dominant
Colors.
probably colors
Yeah.
versus just the kind of clean
Neutrals.
neutrals and the
Okay. Colors, neutrals.
yeah, so then you see people with, you know, different packaging and then just the product itself. It's very like eye-catching, and it
Yeah.
was before, but now I feel like with technology, it's going to be even more. I'm surprised that it's not like, you know, components with like, you know, a little thing going, like a
Yeah.
laser thing you can read it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really excited to see where it goes with,
Yeah.
you know, the future.
Good, I'm excited. All right, so we're gonna go back to your STEM journey. You've shared so many great things about the makeup industry, your formulations, your skills, your background. So I wanted to ask, do you have any role models or mentors that have influenced your journey in STEM?
Yes, I will have to say Nikita Wilson, who is the VP of Product Development for Pattern Beauty, which is Tracy Ellis Ross. She is my current mentor.
Yeah.
And she has essentially kind of guided me and pushed me through each phase of my life, whether I was unemployed, whether I was working. She has consistently been a light, even though she does work for someone far as work underneath someone else, another company Pattern.
Yeah.
She has been so supportive in my, you know, entrepreneurship and entrepreneur journey as a cosmetic chemist, and not being behind the bench far as, you know, just R&Ding, which a lot of chemists do get stuck in.
Research and development.
Yes, research and
Sorry.
development. I do use a
let
lot of
people
code.
know. I
Yes.
just let people know.
And we're STEM, so we know
Yeah,
R&D.
yeah.
So yes, a lot of people tend to get comfortable. I won't say get stuck. I would say get comfortable behind the bench, and the
Right.
fact that I'm kind of coming around from the bench, taking those skills and taking that knowledge and spreading it, and then as well as her assisting me on my knowledge and guiding me and making sure that I'm still doing the correct things, making sure I'm still up to date on cosmetic formulations and procedures and events, B2B, trade shows and all that.
Yeah.
So yes, Nikita Wilson has definitely been the best mentor to me.
Excellent. Great. So were there any challenges that you faced growing up that made pursuing your STEM career difficult?
Yes, I was not good at math.
That's me.
It's so weird how like a lot of people who are in STEM aren't really good at math, or wasn't essentially when they were younger.
Yeah.
So in elementary school, I was in those extra classes that they pull you out of regular class, but you know, yeah, so I was, and but no, this is a testimony, right? So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, I wasn't the best at math. I was getting C's and D's at math, and in Monique's house, my mom's house, a C is failing, so you can't get any C's, and that honestly pushed me to really go after chemistry. It was just like I kind of already knew that math wasn't a strong skill. I wanted to make it a strong skill instead of it still being something weak that I go into adulthood with.
Oh yeah.
Because, you know, math is everything. Math
It
is
is.
money. So
Yes,
it's
math
like
is money, honey.
money.
Yeah.
So that was one of the challenging things, I would say, far as in STEM. I was not the best. I wasn't a mathematician.
Yeah.
I wasn't. So
But it's good. You overcame it.
Overcame
and
it.
You're here now. You see,
Yeah.
the path is not linear, but you can make it.
right, I got through quantum physics and physical chemistry. So if I could do it, and you could do it too. If you're in
Yeah.
courses right now, as far as your hard courses,
Yeah.
you got this. Just stay in the professor's office and face.
Yes, yes, and study, use your resources, and
Yes,
YouTube,
yes.
honey. YouTube.
Yes.
Khan's Academy can be your best friend.
That's how I got through my last semester, Khan's Academy.
Khan's Academy. Well, I'm excited about this next question because we get to learn a little more about you and your accomplishments. So what is one project or accomplishment that you're particularly proud of in your STEM career?
Oh, it was making an edge control. Being able to make an edge control, like an in-house at home, not in a lab where you have other chemists or not teammates, but people who are on your team to be able to guide you and tell you, hey, don't add too much of this, don't add too much of that. It took me 2 years to develop this edge control. And even still, I have to submit it for third party, making sure that it's stable and everything.
Yeah.
And this literally just happened about a month ago. And I am so proud of myself because I spent so much money, so much time, trials, errors, fails. But when it happened, it was like, oh my God, because I was still doing the same procedure. And that's the thing about figuring it out, right? You think it's your procedure, you think it's your raw material, so you're swapping out things, you're swapping out this, you're swapping out that. And then you have to basically find a method where everything works together. And then discovering that, everything worked together, literally, because you don't know till the next day, because it has to solidify. So I woke up and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I called my mom. So that was an edge control. Any chemist can tell you that an edge control, it's not hard to make. It's the stability of it and the shelf life of it. And then once it's applied to someone's hair, you want to make sure it's universal for every hair texture, and you know what I'm saying? So that was one of the most challenging, that I've done and I've overcame. So
I'm glad. Oh, now I want to talk about how you already talked about paying it forward, giving back. Have you been involved in any initiatives or programs to encourage young women or underrepresented groups to pursue STEM fields?
Yes, so I currently have a program underneath Self-Worth Cosmetics called Live and Learn, and this is where I go to colleges, community colleges, any schools. Essentially, they reach out to me and I teach cosmetic formulation workshops.
Yes.
And then I also do partner with other businesses within the community, not just colleges, to teach cosmetic workshops for those who aren't in college or who aren't even thinking about college, or college isn't for them because college isn't for everyone.
Right.
So making sure that I have both doors open to people who are going to college, people who aren't going to college, who are just trying to figure it out.
I love it.
I also work with Clinton Scholars as well, which is a part of Georgia State University. It's a cohort.
Okay.
I do that as well, and they're students at Georgia State, and I teach formulation workshops with them as well too.
Thank you. That's wonderful. And those are two things that people can find on your platforms, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll be linking your information.
Perfect. Everything will be on my website, far as Lab and Learn. So yeah.
Okay, y'all, come get her.
Yeah. So it's like if you want a book and you want a formulation workshop, and it just doesn't have to be students. It could also be adults, a girls' night, however you want to do it.
Yes. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. So now, before our last question, I want to ask, looking back, is there anything you would have done differently in your STEM journey?
No.
That's awesome. That's good, because it really makes you who you are today.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't change a thing. Not even what happened this morning. Y'all
had a morning, but this episode is here. Y'all are learning about greatness, and God provides. Just know.
Right. And you were an angel. Thank you. Oh my gosh. But I wouldn't change anything because, like you said, then I wouldn't be here today being able to speak and share knowledge and show people that, STEM, cosmetic chemistry, is a real job. This is, and it can go into so many different avenues as far as regulatory, quality. You don't have to just be behind the bench. You don't have to be a batcher. You could do so many things, product development. There's so many different avenues behind cosmetic chemistry. It's just that, we're the biggest dollar in this cosmetic industry, but we're the least in the lab. So that's my main goal, is to get more of us in the lab, because our skin is different. That's one thing that you learn in the lab in cosmetic science, that, Caucasian skin has blue undertones, and then our skin has red and gold undertones, and the sides of melanocytes. Everyone has melanocytes, right?
Yeah.
But ours are larger, so therefore, and that's on the epidermis. I'm sorry.
I love it.
And that's on the epidermis. So when you have larger melanocytes on the epidermis, like it absorbs better. It's better UV protection. But we still need to wear sunscreen every day, every occasion, every season. Wear sunscreen, everyone. SPF 50 specifically.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. People need that. We need that.
Yeah.
We need to know. We need to know what to wear. We need to know what to change.
So my first piece of advice is do not take advice from anyone who you don't want a future like, who doesn't know what it's like to be in STEM, whether they have a degree or not, because you're the one that's researching STEM. You're the one who wants to be in STEM.
Yes.
So that's my first piece of advice. Don't get discouraged by losers. My second piece of advice is to always have this warrior mindset. I know, and notice I'm saying warrior, not worrier. You can't worry about things. So the mindset that has kept me through even those hurdles of just being the only Black woman in lab and it being uncomfortable in those situations, I did not give up, and I'm not going to give up. There's nothing in this world that will stop me from doing what I need to do and teaching cosmetic chemistry. So to those who are watching, whatever it is that you want to do not give up. No matter if death comes, of course not to you, but you know, but you know what I'm saying. if uncontrollable circumstances comes your way, do not, because I've been through uncontrollable circumstances, losing a parent, losing a child. Do not stop. Don't, for whatever reason. And then the last bit of advice is to rest.
Yes.
This may sound, on top of all the other good things like networking and all that.
Oh yeah.
You guys already know that.
Yes.
But the things that nobody else tells you to do. Rest. Get your rest. Do not overwhelm yourself. Life is hard as it is enough. You have to keep a roof over your head and be an adult or take care of yourself as it is. Make sure you're getting your rest within this industry, making sure that you're not overwhelming yourself with formulas, trying to learn, talking to too many people as far as at one time, and then it burns you out, and then the passion leaves you. So that's my top three, I would say, is don't take advice from anyone you don't want to be like. Have a warrior mindset. Nothing that happens will ever be able to stop you, even if it's uncontrollable situations. And rest.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Shania, thank you for joining. Thank you for coming on All Things Done with Ashley and being the best guest. I'm super excited about your episode. We made it through every hurdle today.
Every hurdle, guys.
And all this wisdom will be shown to the world. Okay?
Yes.
And we appreciate you. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.